You know that one guy, when he walks into a room, something shifts. Nobody can quite explain it. He is not the loudest, he is not the most aggressive, he does not put people down or throw his weight around, but nobody, and I mean nobody, tries him. No cheap shots, no passive-aggressive comments, no jokes at his expense. People almost instinctively know this one is not worth messing with. And the crazy thing is, it is not because he is intimidating in an obvious way. It is because he has something that makes disrespect feel almost impossible to aim at him. Like throwing something at a wall that just absorbs it. Nothing sticks. Nothing lands. He is too grounded, too calm, too genuinely comfortable in his own skin for the usual social power moves to work. I used to watch guys like that and think it was just confidence, just personality, just something you either had or you didn't. But that is not what it is. What they have is a specific set of behaviors, things they do and things they refuse to do, that make them essentially disrespect proof. Not because they are feared, because they are respected. And there is a massive difference between the two. Fear gets you compliance. Respect gets you loyalty. Fear fades the moment you leave the room. Respect follows you into every room you have not even entered yet. Today, I'm going to break down exactly how to build that kind of presence. 5 specific things that the most respected, most magnetic people do that make disrespect not just unlikely, but almost socially impossible. Stay until the end, because the 5th one is the one most people never think about, and it is the one that ties everything together. Let's dive in. 1. Never react. Respond. The first thing these people do is something that looks almost superhuman the first time you see it in action. Someone takes a shot at them, a passive-aggressive comment, a joke at their expense in front of the group. The kind of thing that would make most people either snap back defensively or laugh it off in that awkward way that makes it obvious they were offended. And this person does nothing. Not nothing in a way that seems like they missed it. Nothing in a way that makes it crystal clear they clocked it, processed it, and decided it was not worth their energy. They look at the person calmly, let a beat of silence sit there, and then either address it with one unhurried sentence, or simply move the conversation forward as if nothing of consequence just happened. Both responses send the same message. That did not land, and I am not impressed enough to make a scene about it. This is the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is automatic, it happens to you. Responding is deliberate, you choose it. And the man who chooses his response instead of being hijacked by his reaction is immediately perceived as the most powerful person in the room. Here is why this works on a psychological level. When someone disrespects you and you snap back, you prove 2 things: that the comment found a target, and that your emotional state is available for other people to control. You have handed them the remote. Every future jab becomes an opportunity to press the same button again. But when you absorb it without flinching, when you make their aggression look like a noise complaint against a mountain, you take the remote away permanently, because they realize in real time that there is no button to press. The technique is what I call the power pause. When something is aimed at you, do not rush. Let 2 full seconds pass. Maintain soft, steady eye contact. Let the faintest trace of a calm smile sit on your face. Not arrogant, just unbothered. Then respond at exactly the pace you choose, or don't respond at all. Practice this in low-stakes moments. The pushy person in line, the rude coworker, the friend who always has a comment. Every time you choose the power pause over the snap reaction, you are building the muscle that makes disrespect slide off you in the moments that actually matter. But not reacting is only half the equation, because the reason most guys get disrespected in the first place is not that they react badly, it is that they have already given people permission to try, and that starts long before anyone opens their mouth. 2. Own your space. We all know this situation. Someone walks into a room and immediately makes themselves smaller, shoulders in, eyes down. They find the nearest wall and position themselves against it as if they are apologizing for taking up space. And within 60 seconds, without a single word being exchanged, the social hierarchy of that room has already been established. Not by what anyone said, but by what their body said for them. The body is always broadcasting. Long before you open your mouth, people are reading your posture, your movement, your use of space, and forming an assessment of your status that will color everything you say afterward. And the single most powerful thing your body can communicate is this: I belong here, completely, without apology. The men who are never disrespected are not necessarily the tallest or the biggest, but they all share one physical quality. They take up exactly the space they are entitled to, and they do it without hesitation. They sit back in their chairs instead of perching at the edge. They walk at the pace of someone who has already arrived. They do not shrink their gestures to avoid taking up too much air. They stand with their feet at shoulder width, chest open, weight evenly distributed, not aggressively, just fully, like a person who has decided at a deep level that they are allowed to be here. Most disrespect is not random, it is targeted. People who make cheap shots are looking for someone who looks like they might absorb it quietly, someone who already seems to be operating on a slight apology for their own existence. When your body says, "I am not sure I belong here," it is an open invitation. But when your body says, "I am completely at home," that invitation disappears. Start practicing this physical reset before every room you enter. Roll your shoulders back, let them drop, chest slightly up, chin level, feet planted, take one slow breath, and then walk into the room like you own a piece of it. But owning your space means nothing if the moment someone talks to you, everything collapses. Because the way you handle your own words is just as loud as the way you carry your body, and most guys are leaking status every time they open their mouth without even knowing it. Before we get into the next point, I want to ask you something. Do you actually know how your presence is landing right now? Not how you think it lands, how it actually lands. I built a free charisma score test that shows you exactly that. It takes 3 minutes, it is completely free, and it gives you a specific score across all the areas we are talking about today, including presence, confidence, and how you come across under pressure. The link is in the description. Feel free to take it. Now, back to the video. 3. Never over-explain or apologize for existing. Here is something I learned way too late. Every time you over-explain a decision, you are asking for permission you do not need. Watch someone with low social confidence when they are challenged on something. They immediately start building a case, justifying, qualifying, adding, I could be wrong, it's just my opinion, and I don't know, maybe shrinking the thing they just said until it barely takes up any space at all. They are so afraid of disapproval that they begin dismantling their own position before the other person has even pushed back. And here is what that communicates to everyone watching. I do not trust myself. I need your agreement to feel okay about what I said. That is an open door for disrespect, because the moment people sense that your confidence is dependent on their approval, they know exactly where to press. The most respected people do not over-explain. They say what they mean, once, clearly, and then they let it stand. Not aggressively, not defensively, just with the quiet assurance of someone who does not need the room's approval to feel good about their own position. This also means eliminating the reflex apology, not genuine apologies. Those are important and earn respect when used correctly, but the automatic, reflexive sorries that come before perfectly reasonable requests. Sorry to bother you, but sorry, I just wanted to say. Every one of those is a small, invisible signal that you consider your own presence as an inconvenience. Stop pre-apologizing for existing. Say what you need to say, own it, and trust that the right people will respect you more for it, not less. But words and body language only get you so far, because there is a specific moment, one that happens in every social group, on every date, in every workplace, where respect is either cemented or lost forever, and most guys get it completely wrong. 4. Hold the line. Once. Have you ever met someone who had a boundary but kept moving it every time someone pushed? They said no, then got talked into yes. They held a position, then folded the moment there was friction. They set a standard, then made an exception, then another, until the standard did not mean anything anymore. You have probably lost respect for that person without quite knowing why. And the reason is this: a boundary that can be moved is not a boundary, it is a suggestion. And suggestions do not command respect. The most disrespect-proof people I have ever met share one quality that has nothing to do with how loud or aggressive they are. They hold the line, once, calmly, and they do not move it. Not because they are stubborn, not because they enjoy conflict, but because they have decided in advance, before the social pressure arrives, what they will and will not accept. And when that line is crossed, they address it exactly once, clearly and without heat, and then they hold it completely still regardless of what comes back. Here is what this looks like in practice. Someone makes a comment that crosses a line. Instead of laughing it off or snapping back, you look at them with complete calm and say, "Hey, I don't do that." Without lecture or explanation, no anger, just a clean, quiet statement of fact. What happens next is almost always the same. The other person either respects it immediately, which most people do, or they push back to test whether you actually mean it. And if they push back, you do not argue, you do not justify, you just hold the line. Same calm energy, same quiet certainty. You have already said what you needed to say. You do not need to say it again. The first time you do this, it will feel almost impossibly uncomfortable. Every instinct will tell you to soften it, to add a joke, to make sure they do not think you're being too serious. Resist all of it. The discomfort you feel is the sensation of a real standard being set, possibly for the first time. And real standards, held once, do more for your social standing than a year of working on your presence. But here is the thing. All of this only works if the final piece is in place. And this is the one nobody talks about. Because it is not about what you do in the moment. It is about who you are before the moment ever arrives. 5. Have something to protect. This is the truth about why some men are never disrespected, and it has nothing to do with how they handle disrespect in the moment. It is because they have built something real, a life with actual substance, standards they have actually lived by, a sense of self that is not constructed in the mirror before a social event, but forged quietly and consistently in the moments when nobody is watching. Here is what I mean. Respect is not primarily a social skill, it is a signal. And the signal it is responding to is this. Does this person have something worth respecting? Not wealth, not status, not the right clothes or the right job. Something internal. An interior life that is so clearly real, so obviously earned, that the usual social power moves just bounce off it. When you have genuinely built something, when you have kept the promises you made to yourself, when you have done hard things alone, when you have faced uncomfortable truths and stayed standing, you carry that with you into every room, not as a performance, as a reality, and people feel the difference between a man who is performing confidence and a man who actually has it. This is why these techniques work for some people immediately and seem hollow for others. The techniques are real, but they are the surface expression of something deeper. They work best when they are backed by an actual identity, a man who has decided who he is and lived that decision long enough for it to feel true. So the final answer to the question this video asks, how do you become so charismatic that people would not dare disrespect you, is this: become someone you would not dare to disrespect yourself. Keep your word, hold your standards, do the hard thing when the easy thing is available, build something real in the hours when nobody is watching. And how do you do that? Well, if you want to know, check out the Charisma Code. This is our complete step-by-step system to become truly magnetic. It contains 10 modules, actionable steps, PDF summaries, and exclusive bonus materials. It moves from inner foundation to outer expression and finally into long-term integration. So charisma becomes not only something you build, but something you are. If you are interested, check the link in the description.